Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always, huge massive thank you for the support. I really do appreciate it. So just coming back in with the Hunkydory members, Hunkydory Crafts members free, current members free gift should I say, which is just for him. This little set is called You're the Best and is kind of sports related. So we've got our sort of football related big topper there. We've got golf, but we can swap that out for the fishing. We've got a just for you. We've got a little golf bag with the golf ball. You're the best. Some fish, football, have a blast, and then another football one there. And the sentiment, not sentiment, the border strip is gold. Full cardstock has these beautiful stars on. The printed has that beautiful little golf buggy even. Sorry, having that day out being poorly has really sort of fried my brain a little bit. So we've got the inserts. So there's two ways to get the free gift. You can just get the free gift by paying for the postage, which I believe is about £2.95 to the UK. Or you can go for the bundle, which is £12.99 and includes a free gift but a load of other things. So you get foil cardstock, you get the inserts, and you get a little pocket pad as well. So I always go for the bundle because it just seems to make everything go a lot further. But if you are just looking for something to practice on, play on, maybe even just want for the kids to play on, if it's not your bag, you can just pay that postage and get the kit for free. You do have to sign up as a member. It doesn't cost you anything. And once you're signed in, you can get that for free. That's what we're going to be playing with today. So let's pop that to the side. And I thought I would start off nice and easy with just a little 6x6 temp fold. So I've taken a piece of 6x12 cardstock and I've just scored that to make a 6x6 card blank. And then I'm going to take a 6x6 mirror mat. And I'm going to take 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off of 2 of those sides. So I'm just going to say it now just before I move on to anything else. If the video is a little choppy today, I'm going to apologise, because if I start coughing, it's going to be a while before I come back. Okay, so we've taken 2 notches off of that, and then I'm going to take the foiled cardstock and I'm going to cut this to 5 3/4 square, keeping in that foiled piece. So that's going to be part of the feature of my card. So we've got a nice piece there, a little bit distressed sort of look to it, but that should fit onto there quite nicely. And then I'm going to grab that foiled cardstock with the orange star. So I'm picking up on the orange here and also in the actual topper. And that looks to me about 2 by 1 maybe. So I'm going to go, let's go 2 1/4. By 1 1/4. Just I'm going to go more than that. I'm going to go to 3. So we've got 2 1/4 by 3, and then what I'm going to do is just cut that corner to corner diagonally. And it doesn't matter which side you use, they've both got stars on. Don't need that, I don't think, anymore. Okay, so this is going to come in down here. Now you could come in with some linen card or try and match those up exactly, a little bit of parchment maybe, but I'm just going to come in with this. Now I do want this to have a little bit of a gold edge because we have got that gold piece there. So I've just got a little, you know, like these little pieces that come off. I could have used the one that came off today. but for some random reason, instead of thinking logically that way, maybe just because I'm a little bit under the weather, I've popped that in the bin and we're using an older one. So I'm just going to use my dotty tape pen, and I'm going to pop this on just with a little fine border along the top, as even as I can. It's not going to be perfect because it's going to be by eye. And then I can just take my scissors and I'll take it that way and cut that off. So I've not done anything around this side. It's just purely because we haven't got one around this side and there. Just purely just that little edge on there. And you could do it flat, you know, if you've cut it exactly to size and you've got like a thin slither, or maybe you use a peel off if you prefer. Okay, so the glue I'm going to be using, if I don't throw them all over the floor. Oh, sorry, just going to pick that up. And the chair is creaking, so apologies. Is the Kalau tacky glue. I've got the Kalau all-purpose glue. Probably, well, you see, we've already seen the dotty tape pen, but I'm also probably going to bring in that purple glue stick at some point as well. So if you've been watching my channel a while, you'll know I do like to mix my glues. It just works for me. I'm just going to put a little bit of tacky on the outside and then that all-purpose in the middle. And we're just going to pop that on and line that up with the bottom of my cardstock there. And the reason why I've chosen the stars is to echo this design in here as well. So there was a little bit of thought process to it today. It's not always the case. I think it's because I'm having to try so hard today. Really still a little bit under the weather, but I cannot spend another day watching Pamela Pumpkin videos because I'm enjoying them far too much. I enjoyed them last year. Well, to be fair, I only found them at the end of last year, but they've started coming up early this year. So by the time I'd found them last year, Halloween was pretty much over. But they have come up early this year. I don't know if it's more people making new ones, copying her workout. I think the original person that did it was Laura Cleary, I want to say. I don't know if that's true. But I'm sure I've seen her, and then obviously all these people are copying her, and they're quite funny. But yeah, so I need to, I've got some design team stuff to do anyway, so I need to get on with stuff. So I'm forcing myself to try and think through, but apologies if it's not as well thought out as usual, but we're going to have a play. It always makes me feel better to craft anyway, so hold on a second, apologies, coughing fit. Okay, so we're going to pop this out. So the plan is we'll probably have that orange somewhere in the middle. Of course I'm going to take this middle frame out. I'm not going to break the habit of a lifetime. That's going to go in there. I do need to trim down the pips as well. Let's get rid of that. I do need that. And then I think I want the big football. Or no, I don't want the big football. I want the Just For You. And I want the little football. Somewhere around there is the plan. Anyway, I might change that up. Maybe have them like so. Yeah, I think I'm going to go like so. Okay, so let's just trim these pips off. So the pips are just a little little pieces of connecting cardstock where everything was held in the sheet. So sometimes when you pop them out, you do get some standing a little bit proud. A couple of different ways to deal with them. You can just run the edge of the blade of your scissors along and just, you know, trim them out. You can use, very carefully I would add, a little nail file, preferably one that you haven't used on your nails, but you know, it's your life, you do it if you want to. The other thing you can do is sometimes if they're on the inside, they're quite hard to get with scissors, and you can just kind of squish them down a little bit with your nail. So depending on which way you want to go for it. Some people prefer to cut them out, like literally, let me just show, sort of pop your scissors maybe into the gap and then let your blade disconnect them that way. I just prefer to pop them out and then deal with the pips afterwards, because it's not always a case that there are that many. Okay. So we are going pretty central, like I said. I think probably 2mm, because I think I do need to raise that off of that corner. But I am liking the look of that. I'm just thinking, I think that's the way we're going to go. And then some little gems, maybe some gold ones, I think, to accentuate those spaces. I am going to use 2mm foam pads on all of these, so I just want to try not to get too close. So that's just one that was cut in half. Got some more here. Let's just use up these little pieces. So I'm having the gold on that left hand side. So I don't want to put any foam pads in there because we have got a bit of height there. And that's going to support this card quite nicely. So just pop a nice amount all the way around. And where am I going to put? No, I haven't. Ooh, had one of those moments there. Okay, so let's pop these off. I'll use the purple glue stick just to put a little bit of glue on the back of these. And I really do like the purple glue stick for this, because you just get that little bit of slip with it. Even with the tacky glue will do this job, but I don't think it does it as well. Actually, let me just pop another little bit there. I think the purple glue stick just gives that little bit of slide to it, which is helpful, in my opinion. But you know, if the tacky glue is what you've got, it will do that to a certain extent. So what I want to do is just make sure I've got this kind of in the middle of my card. I'm just looking at this gap here, go back just a tiny bit, and I'm a little lower at the bottom than the top, but I like that. So I'm going to leave that where that is. And then we can come in, like I said, I'm doing 2mm on all of these. These are my new favourite thing to do. I don't know why it's my new favourite thing to do, but it is, so just going to go with it. You could be doing ones, you could be even just keeping it flat if you prefer. There's no rule that says you have to elevate these. It's just my personal preference, but like I say, if you're sending this out and you know the postage is going to be horrendous, then you might want to go completely flat, and you'd still get a lovely look as well. Okay, so let's just pop, I'm going to pop this onto here, make it easy for myself, and we're going to pop that onto there. We'll just risk it for a biscuit. And then this one, I'm going to need a little bit of a foam pad, not a whole thing. So I'm going going to go as close to that as I dare. Let's get rid of that rubbish. I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I feel like there's a bit of shadow there, so we'll go, I'm going to go there, I'm feeling there. So that's onto there. And then I'm going to bring in some gold. Oh, I haven't written top on this, but I'm assuming this is the top. Oh look, we've got sellotape on this one. This is the new pack that I bought. Oh, it's got an arrow on it. How useful is that? That's the first one I've had that's had an arrow on. Well done you, Chimo person. Let's just check there's nothing on that side. Just checking that there's sellotape there. Sorry guys, should have done this beforehand. There we go. That should be it. She says. Right, let's just check. No, there's another one there, is there? Okay, so just before I forget, I'm just going to use a Copic alcohol marker. I usually use the Sharpie pen, but that's disappeared just to right on the top. Oh, there still was another one there, look. I thought I had got them all. Oh, I was having a coughing fit. Okay. So, what am I thinking? So originally I was thinking about 7 gems, but I don't think I'm going to need that much now because I've changed the design from my original when I was planning it slightly, not a lot. So let's maybe have three, maybe quite close. Just move you up there. And I want 2 smaller ones. 1, 2. And the reason why it might seem a little bit wasteful to swap to a new pot because I haven't got the right size in my other one is because quite often the mirror on these gems is unique to that pot unless you've got one from the same place. You can find that the mirror, the gold can be slightly different colour, so that's why I kind of will swap to a new pot when my favourite size has run out. I'm not being completely wasteful, honest. Let's just pop you a little bit that way. Where are you going? Go back that way. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be my finished card. Just needs that little insert going in. Let me just check I've put it on the right way for a moment then. So that's card number 1. It's quite easy. Just a little bit of matte in the layer. You could get away with leaving that off if you wanted to and just having that, maybe bring that circle down a little bit so those stars really shine on there. But that's card number 1 for me, and I'm just going to get set up for card number 2. Okay, so for card number 2, from a piece of the A4 pack of Ink Me, I've just cut this piece of cardstock to 10 by 7, and I'm going to make a 5 by 7 cut in sort of Z-fold card. So let's bring in the trimmer first of all, and I'm going to pop this. Do I want to change the details? No, I'm going to keep it as my little template that I did. So I'm going to put this up to the 2.5 mark, and then my blade needs to cut from 2.5 to 7.5. So it's worth mentioning that you can have this sort of piece as high or as low as you like. I kind of do like it quite high, but you know, you've got options there. Then if I bring in my scoreboard, we'll start with the easy one first of all. With the 5" we go all the way along, and then with the 2.5 we go to the cut line, and then if I turn that over, and then at 2.5 I'm going to the cut line again. So you're kind of going to have this sort of look to it. So on the template that I have on Pinterest and Facebook, the template does say to score all the way down. You can do it, doesn't affect the card, but lately I found that if you just score it to the cut line, that piece does seem even more stable, let's put it that way. So I haven't been. Okay, so let's just start to ease these into position. So this one's going to be a mountain, that one's going to be a valley, that one's going to be a mountain, that one's going to be a valley, and then we're just going to start easing those over. Once we've kind of got them going where we want them to, making sure they're straight, we can start and burnish these down. And the reason for burnishing is just so that you get a really nice crisp fold every time with the card. So you can see it's now not resisting, it's like fully committed to being that shape card. Nice and easy. It stands quite nicely, even though it's got that piece missing there, but you don't need to decorate that piece because it's not seen when the card is up anyway. Okay, so that's our card template, and then I'm going to start with a piece of A4 Miri card, and I am going to cut this. I need the arm out on this one. I always forget with these slightly bigger cards. And I'm going to cut this to 2 notches under the 7. I'm just going to do the whole piece, and then I've got a nice sort of size border there for, I don't know, stepper cards, anything like that, if I want to use up the bits. But let's turn that around, and these pieces here, so there's one on this back side, there's one on the front side too. They are 2.5. Actually, I don't think I need that out anymore, so we can pop that down. So I'm going to take 2 notches off that. So 2 notches off the 2.5, and that's going to pop into there quite nicely. And I'm going to do another piece exactly the same, 2 notches or 1/8 of an inch off of the 2.5 to go on to that top piece. You can't really see it, but there you go, that's there. So we want 2 of those. Now these pieces here are 2.5 by 2.5. So again, if I take 2 notches off of 2.5, and this piece here is 4.5, 5, 6, 7, yeah, 4.5. So if I do the 2.5, we take 2 notches off of that first of all. I always try and do the smaller piece first because it's just easier than trying to take a smaller piece off a smaller piece. And then this piece needs to be 2 notches under 4.5. So nothing going to waste on this one. And then we're going to repeat that again. So 2 notches under 2.5, 2 notches under 2.5, and 2 notches under 4.5. Okay, so those are the pieces there. We've got a piece left over, which is going into the bit box. And then I'm going to bring in the cardstock here. We'll need the insert, but I'll keep that for a second. So I'm going to start by taking this to, I'm going to take it to 5 inches. I know I'm wasting a bit, but I can always put that in my little pack as a border. And then if I take that round, I do want to try and take some of this border off. So I'm going to come in at 6 3/4. Now you can keep the border on if you want to, but the reason why I'm taking that border off is because I'm using this foiled cardstock on these pieces here, and I kind of felt like it clashed a little bit. So if I take those pieces off, that looks better next to it, in my head anyway. So that's why I've done that. Let's take that arm down. Yeah, don't need any longer pieces after this. So now to fit onto these pieces here, that needs to be 2 1/4. So I need 2 pieces of 2 1/4. And like I say, I've got a piece there that I can use as a border. It's going to go into my adorable scoreable bit box. And then let me bring this piece in. Just going to take the tiniest piece, so 2 1/4. Yeah. Oops. And then a 2 1/4. So these are going to be those 2 little pieces on there. And that's going to go on that side there. And then lastly but not leastly, if I again cut this to 5 inches just to start with. Let's see how that's cutting. Let me swap to my little guillotine, just because of this paper is a bit fuzzy with that trimmer. But we know the length is 4 1/2 for that spot, so I need this to be 4 1/4. And I think what I'm going to do is just take a little bit off the bottom, and then we can cut that to 4 1/4. Keep the roof of the car in. Obviously that's a piece for me to scribble on, or it will go elsewhere. And then we want 2 1/4. Now what I'm going to do is just bring in a piece of cardstock just to, let's see, if I put this at 2 1/4, pop that in, put that down. And then if I pop that back again, it just keeps this piece of paper straight, to be honest. It makes it a little bit easier. So we've got our pieces there, and they're going to go into the middle. So that's just, and it doesn't have to be the print, you know, you could use any piece of card that's got a nice straight edge. Okay, so these should be all of our pieces. And if I straighten that back out, we will start to assemble. Okay, sorry, coughing again. The coughing's not so bad, but it kind of makes my nose run after, and then I'm all like sneezy. So apologies if I'm sniffing. It's just the change in the weather, like the dampness and the lower light as well gives me the migraines which go along with it. Oh, I'll tell you, absolutely no fun at the moment. I don't need to think about that because we're crafting. Okay, so again, just moving on with this one. And in. And down. Okay. So this is just that simple matting and layering. I mean, you could come with those, that little brown bit at the top if you wanted to. I'm going to keep it at the bottom. And I was watching one of the videos I was watching. I think it's Cards and Coffee Time is the channel on YouTube. And she was doing it, I don't know if it was a recent one because I've been into my YouTube lately, but she was doing like a faux distress with gold foil, but not hot foil. You know, there's two types of foil that you can buy. You can buy hot foil, which you need a hot foiling machine, or you can buy the other one. Let's just move that down a little bit, which you need glues for to use. And she was she had an old like paintbrush, and she was using, I think she was just using normal PVA glue, but I think if I was going to do it, I'd use, you can buy this special glitter and flock glues and foil glues. I think I've got some from Crafter's Companion, to be honest. And she was using a little paintbrush, and she was just dabbing it on, and then putting this foil on top, and then obviously the glue would stick to the foil, and the sort of waste would come away, and it did look really effective. And I think when I get a chance, like I say, at the moment I've got this design team thing to do, which I'm not going to do a video for, but I will show you the samples on Facebook and stuff, and they'll go on Pinterest when they're released as well. But when I get a chance, I want to have a little go, especially with that last collection, the Curiosity, the Clockwork Curiosity, the pad. If it works out, it could look quite cool on that, I think, because they had a sort of distress finish to them anyway, and adding the foil to them, you know, we're so used to having this beautiful foil on cardstock from Hunkydory. It would be great to be able to do that same, but I think the challenge would be finding that release foil. I'm just going to call it release foil. That's a very similar colour to the Miri, because obviously the Miri is a very bright, beautiful gold. And if you've been crafting a while, you will know there's probably 100 different shades of gold. But yeah, I'm sort of itching to give that a go. Let's see how it comes out. If it comes out good, then I'll show you, probably by Facebook or such. But then it's something you know, something to note for last time. And I don't think I would do it with a paintbrush. I think I would probably put a little like a sandwich bag over my finger and dab it in, so you've got them kind of crinkles, you know, and you get the crinkles in the plastic. It's not going to be smooth. I don't think I want to do it with my finger as such, because you'd get fingerprints maybe coming through, which would be weird. Okay, so I've just gone in and added these on. With the insert, you've seen me use the dotty tape pen in the corners instead of the tacky glue, just because it's a little bit thinner paper. But that is how the card is going to present. It's going to be even better if I can make sure those don't move and stay nice and still. I have to lift it up just because of the lights. I've got these lights that are so bright now. They do make you temporarily blind sometimes. Okay, let's pop that one out of the way and under, and let's bring out our toppers. Now the plan for this one was to have my little, originally I wanted to swap it for the fishing, but I couldn't because there was no fishing insert. If you want to change it to the fishing, you might have one from, like, I think there was a kit last year for the men, which might be quite similar, maybe slightly different colours. There may be an insert in there, or you might want to just pick a plainer one. So the plan is to have a little golf cart going across like so, and then we've got our little golf cart there, I think, and then, or I might swap these round. You're the best. So we might have that. No, that definitely needs to go there. That's too red to go on there. And then maybe we'll have that one up there. Let's see what that looks like when it's closed. Yep, I think that's going to be the way to go. Okay, so again, just to be a little bit boring, I'm going to go with these 2mm. Let's just chop some of these in half. And we'll start with this piece. Now I think what I want to do is put this frame so that the red is at the top, away from that red there, so it's not sort of clashing. It's going to tie everything together quite nicely. Again, I'm going to discard this middle frame, so we will have that bit of space. That's fine. Let's just trim these little pesky pips. And just poke those down. You could go with your knife, but I always kind of worry about cutting into it, because once you've cut into it, you've had it, especially with an oval. Although I suppose you could come around with a die. There's nothing stopping you recutting it out. You'd just probably lose that fine gold border, because the dies I think are set up to more about approximately about 1/4 of an inch, whereas I sort of prefer that sort of 2mm, 1/8 of an inch sort of feel. There we go. Sorry, I've just gone quiet because I could hear a noise, and I believe it sounds like an ice cream man. Okay, so let's go ahead, and on this frame I'm going to pop one there. Just going to mark where I need to be. Don't want anything coming over here, because then it will stick to it, and then that's not going to be good. It's going to be ruined then. No way back from that kind of disaster, I don't think, unless you cut the topper off and discard the base. Okay, so let's go ahead, pop these off. Pop these off. So, and we can pop that off. And I think today, what my plan for the rest of the day, I have got to make some cards this afternoon. But I'm going to, when I finish this video, I'm going to start it off, get it edited, because that takes a long while. And then I'm going to have a curry, because my top cures for a cold, especially when it's sort of going on my chest like it is at the moment, is a curry. I don't know why I went straight to this sentiment first, I don't usually. A curry and ginger biscuits, not at the same time obviously, but those seem to kick it into touch. So I'm going to have a curry, even though it's a Sunday. I'm going to have a nice curry, and got no ginger biscuits, so we'll have to just make do with the curry. So for this one, again, we're going to make sure we're not putting any foam pads where there's that space behind. So I'm just going to leave off all of this side. We just want to put it on that half. So let's just pop. And if you do happen to put your foam pads on the other side, the wrong side, what you can do is just peel them off. You maybe use your glue eraser to clean up the backs. At the end of the day, not many people are going to look at that side anyway. I'm just going to pop one in there. Let me just check I've not done that too low. And I have. So let's see. So this is what you get, but with that foil card you will get a minute just to rub that off. So let's try that again. Let's go right in that corner and that will be fine. Okay, so now we've got plenty on here. And if you left that on there and went away, you probably might find that that doesn't come off that foil card as easy. I think with that glue being quite fresh, it's allowed me to roll it off quite nicely, but I would say, actually, let's just pop a little bit of tacky glue on there, just in case. Yeah, I would say don't leave it, just sort it as quick as you can. And if you're in any doubt on this, you can use the inner frame as a guide to lining this up. Always quite difficult with ovals, I think. We're going to go with that. Got nothing showing on that other side, so that's perfect. And then we're going to have this one down here. So just put that on that side there. I will pop a little bit of tacky there. A little bit of purple glue. That's going to come down to there. Okay, so that's the bones of our card. You can still write in this piece here. You possibly could just about get under there, but it does add to the design when the card's opened. If you didn't want to write on there, you could always pop on the back. Maybe use some of the papers, because with the inserts there are some decorative papers as well. I'll put them away so I can't show you. But yeah, you've got that option there. Okay, so because we're kind of thinking guy's card, I am going to go with some gold gems rather than anything pretty. What to be aware of with these type of cards though is you really don't want to put anything in this square here, because that's going to bulk up that side there. So I would say on this one what I'm going to do is just pop some around here. I'm going to leave that completely blank. Okay, you could put like low level one, you could even come in with a peel off down here or something like that, something flat, or the sticker balls if you prefer. But let's see on where we want to be with these. So I think probably go with a little spray again. Go with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, so these are what I'm going to play with. So let's just move these around to how I am happy. So I'm just going to go a little quiet while I just plan that out, plot that out. So let's just go with the 3 up there like that. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. So we can just come in, a little bit of glue. Sounds like it's raining outside now. So there we go. Okay, and that's going to be our finished card number 2. So it would go in a 5x7 envelope. It is a little on the chunkier side, but most envelopes would accommodate that quite nicely, because really you're not going higher than those 2mm foam pads, I don't think. Maybe 3 or 4mm, if that, for the whole card with that thicker cardstock. But that's card number 2. Let's bring back in card number 1. So completely different really sort of styles, but we've still got plenty left of this You're the Best. We've got our fishing, we've got our fishing tag, Have a Blast, which does have the football whistle on, and we've got the football boots. Just move you over a little bit, come that way, there you go. Still got plenty of that cardstock, haven't put the insert in yet. Insert there, little pieces. We've got our car, and we should have some boots as well. There we go. Obviously we've still got those other foil cards, and we've still got that left as well to play with. So eventually there will be, I will craft with these and put them up on Pinterest, and you will see what I've done with those eventually, but it may take me a little while, like I say, just not feeling so great, and having those other things to do as well, which I need to do so I don't get into trouble. But that's it. So thank you so much for watching today. Hopefully you're having a great weekend, maybe getting some crafting done. A few of you have said that you have been under the weather as well, so hopefully you guys are on the mend as well. But until next time, happy crafting. Bye.